8:09, the time in the studios of Q95 FM radio. Welcome to another In the Spotlight radio show as we continue featuring those fantastic, stunningly beautiful young ladies vying for the title of Miss Dominica 2020. Last week we did, let me see, oh my goodness, my brain. I know we did Primrose David, we did Melanie Charles, we did Kimra Charles, and Elnara Emmanuel. Oh my goodness, thank you. I was trying to see how much of that I would be able to remember, and they did a wonderful job last week, and I expect nothing different from the ladies who are on tonight. For the first hour, we will be featuring Savahnn James and Kadisha Joseph for hour number one. And in the second hour, one lady will have to be done by herself because the final half hour goes to Miss Dominica 2019. So for half hour 9 to 9:30 is contestant number 7, who is Shannon Sentinel. We got it. And Miss Dominica 2019 will bring the curtains down on our features of the Miss Dominica contestants for 2020. A few things. First of all, we are live on my social media page, and the views are adding up here. So thank you to those of you who use this medium to view the show. So we're live on my page. If you're not my friend, just follow me and you should be good. You should be able to get on there and to see what is going on. I also have a couple of pages that I need to tell you about. We have the Diamond Fernanda Frampton public page that you can go there and just, like the page as well. And we have our In the Spotlight Radio Show fans page that we would like you to go on and become a fan. Yes, so that's about it. And we are just about getting ready for this, young ladies. The show is going to be on a Thursday this time around, Thursday the 20th of February 2020, and that is because a new show is being introduced called Sunrise on the Friday, headlining my good friend Asa Banton, and then of course on Saturday is going to be the Grand Calypso Finals. So Miss Dominica this year, just for those of you who are not aware, will be held on Thursday the 20th of February 2020 at the Windsor Park forecourt, which is actually Carnival City. So we are excited to continue our program tonight. We have the ladies who are already here and all set to go. They're not nervous, they're smiling and they're beautiful, and we're getting set to speak to Savahnn James and Kadisha Joseph. And I think both of these ladies had their launches on the weekend. Yes, both ladies had their launches on the weekend, which is quite interesting, and here you are tonight. So let's go. We start off by saying good evening to Savahnn. Savahnn, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Let me make sure I have your mic properly, Savahnn. Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the program. It is an absolute pleasure to have you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
All right. And then we have Kadisha. Kadisha.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
All right, let me make sure that I say good evening for me again, Kadisha.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so I think I have the right mic for you right now. So, ladies, welcome to the program. Did you hear your fellow sisters last week?
Of course.
So you all made the effort to listen.
Yes.
So you know what this is going to be like,
Yes.
right? So you ready?
Yes.
All right. My first opportunity is to allow you to say good evening to everyone who is listening, and if there's anyone in particular that you would like to big up, like we say as we start off the program.
Good evening to the listening and viewing public. A special good evening to my mom and dad. I know you're listening at home and watching. Good evening to my sisters who are not here right now. You all missed my launching yesterday, but I know you're proud of me, and I know you're watching and listening. To Team Savahnn, hello. I know you're going crazy in the group chat right now, but I'll make you proud, don't worry.
Hi, good evening, everyone listening. And also to my parents listening and my team soccer queen. Good evening, everyone.
All right, so you're saying hello to your all your teams that are working with you, what it is like? What is it like to have a team behind you when you're taking part in a competition like that? How important is that?
It is really important, extremely important, because you need that extra drive, because sometimes you feel like giving up, you need that extra support.
What does it mean to you, Savahnn?
It's very important to me, and I really have to say thank you to my chaperones, Leandra and Malik, because there are days where I feel like I just cannot go any further, I cannot walk anymore, I cannot practice my talent anymore. But they're like, Savahnn, you can do this, we have faith in you, we know that's what you're capable of, and I really appreciate them, because I don't think I would reach this far without them. They really keep me grounded, and on hard days they really push me to do my best.
So a solid team is important if you are to succeed at this Miss Dominica, because
Sure.
I mean, you're human. I've been through this. I remember just breaking down. I went to the costume room one evening, and I just remember just breaking down and crying. I mean, I know I'm an old shishia, like they say, but you know, I was just so overwhelmed by everything. I think my costume was incomplete. It was a couple of days before the pageant, and I just broke down. So you really do need that type of support, especially when it gets closer to the show, because you need to keep it together.
Yes.
So you're proud of your teams.
Yes.
Of course I love them.
Okay, so let us get to know a bit more about each of you. Savahnn, tell me about your background for persons who have not seen your biography or who do not really know who you are. What is it that you can tell us about who Savahnn is and where Savahnn comes from?
I would like to start off by saying that I am a very driven and a motivated individual. Whatever I set my mind to do, like I set my mind to be successful at this pageant, and I know that I will do so. I grew up in Roseau, as a lot of you may know. I'm representing the city of Dominica, Roseau. I grew up with my parents, my maternal grandmother, my two older sisters, and my younger brother. Growing up, we had a very close-knit family. We were very close with each other. We spent a lot of time together. And our extended family was also very close with us. Aunties and uncles coming and going on vacation. So I had a very a great upbringing, I must say. Instilled a lot of good morals and values. Because of that, I was living in Roseau. I was able to participate in a lot of extracurricular activities. I was in the White Tikupuli Dance Theatre Company. I was a part of the Africulture Stilt Walkers, and my parents were very strict on me when it came to education. But they also wanted me to have a very good balance. So they allowed me to participate in extracurricular activities, of course, if the grades were good. And I'm very thankful to my mother for that, because she was really hard on me to keep my grades up, to get those first grades, to be successful in college. And I am thankful to her right now, because I was successful throughout my educational career in Convent High School and at the Dominica State College. And I really want to pursue my studies in environmental engineering, and I thank her for that, because she believes in me and she knows that I can do it. So growing up, I was really loved. I had a great support system, and my family was amazing.
Oh. And before I move to Khadija, tell us who your parents are.
My mother is Jocelyn Green James, and my father is Robert Armstrong James, a very well-known musician at that.
Indeed, indeed. He just recently worked with us during Curl in the Park,
Yes.
assisting us with our stage management. So I do know your father very well. Khadija, let's talk about you and your upbringing. What is it that we need to know about you? As I said, you know, for those who haven't seen your biography, those who don't know who you are, and they're listening or they're viewing tonight, what do they need to know about Khadija?
My name is Khadija Joseph, 24-year-old representing Fonkole. I grew up in the industrial area in Fonkole, and then later down, about 18, I moved to the Ravencock area.
Go on. Yes, just bring it up for me, so we can hear Khadija properly. Not so high. All right, right about, yes.
Okay, and everyone who knows me knows that I am a sports enthusiast. I love sports. I play football, I play at the national level, and the national team goalkeeper. I also represented Dominica in netball, basketball. Sports, when you hear sports, you hear Khadija. So everyone knows me as loving sports. So that's why I chose the platform Youth empowerment through the advent of sports.
And we'll talk about that a bit later on as well during the course of the program. So tell me what a typical time was like for you growing up as a young girl.
Growing up, it was basically family. Everyone who I lived around was family. Aunties here, uncles there, cousins there. So it was good, it was enjoyable. Riding bicycles, climbing trees, just on the road, what we call carts. So yeah, it was really fun growing up in my area.
A little tomboy ways, yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes, a little tomboy ways. We know that one of the things that is an attraction for the young ladies to participate in the Miss Dominica was the introduction of the scholarship. Now, as Dominicans, we want to know that the young ladies who are representing us, or the one who is selected to represent us, has a sound education, a sound mind. I know, Savahnn, you mentioned earlier on a bit about your education. Expound a bit for us, and then we go to you, Khadija.
Well, at the CXC level, I took 10 subjects, which included physics, biology, chemistry, and geography. I love geography most of all, and coincidentally, my chaperone now was my geography teacher in high school, Miss Dominica, and she is the reason why I can safely say I'm studying environmental engineering right now, because of her teaching. It was amazing. I loved it, and it really resonated with me, and I chose that career path because of what I learned during my time at Convent High School in geography. Then I went on to the Dominica State College, where I studied physics and biology, which are the building blocks for going on to environmental engineering. That's what I want to pursue. And I knew ask if the scholarship was the reason why I chose going up for the show, and definitely.
You listened last week, didn't you? For real.
It was a very big reason.
Okay.
Because I think that it allows me to really push my platform. I'm very passionate about the environment and really preserving and conserving our environment. And this allows me to do so. It will allow me to further my education in that field and be able to come back home to develop Dominica. And that's very near and dear to me.
What is environmental engineering?
Environmental engineering is basically finding ways to combat changes in the environment. So we have climate change, we have pollution. It's being able to safeguard countries from the effects of these things. And I think here in Dominica, we really feel the effects. Recently, we experienced Hurricane Maria, and it devastated us. And I think there are things we can put in place. Of course, we can't prevent natural disasters from happening, but there are things that we can do for us to be able to bounce back, as we say, a little bit easier and a bit faster as well. So that's what environmental, coming up with ways to really have a better environment.
So if you were to win and you go off to study, I would want to think the intention is to come back to Dominica and give back this knowledge and experience to your country.
Yes, most definitely. I want to come back, and my platform is centered around renewable energy, and I think Dominica really has the resources to do that. Of course, it won't happen overnight, but I think with my knowledge, after I pursue my bachelor's degree, if I am successful at this pageant, I'll be able to come back home and really contribute to at least getting people involved and giving out knowledge and so on to what renewable energy can do for us here in Dominica.
All right. Khadija, yes.
Okay, so I first started off at the St. George's
I think we probably need you to speak up a bit. I'll tell you all a secret about Khadija. When we did the initial interviews with the young ladies, I was on that panel when we were speaking to them. I remember having to say to Khadija a couple of times, Khadija, I need to hear you. You need to speak up. So she's done some work. She's done some work, but we really want to make sure that we hear you, Khadija. So speak into the mic and let us hear Khadija and what she has to say.
Okay. So I started my preschool education at the former St. George's Preschool, and then I went on to the Goodwood Primary School, where I successfully obtained a bursary, and from there I went to the Goodwood Secondary School, where I did 7 subjects. I was successful, and then I went on to the Dominica State College, where I started studying psychology. I chose psychology because I'm very observant, and I love observing people, And psychology, it helps me understand people, the way they behave, and what might drive them to behave that way. So I enjoy that aspect of psychology. So if I am successful at this pageant, I would really love to go ahead and further my education in the field of psychology. Child psychology.
I was about to say, which area of psychology?
Children's child psychology.
Why child psychology?
Because I love children, and I think that more can be done to protect our children. I also want to become a law enforcement officer, so I want to incorporate these two together to basically make Dominica a better and safer place for our children.
Tell me how these two work together, Khadija.
Because if I understand the children and I am someone in authority to enforce the law, I believe this is a really good combination.
Okay. You mentioned earlier on that you went to the Goodwill Secondary School. I know sometimes this is a school that people sometimes turn up their nose to, which we really should not be, because every educational institution plays their role in ensuring that their children are properly educated. What was your experience like at the Goodwill Secondary School?
It was great.
It was great.
It was not my first choice, to be honest.
Okay.
But since most of my siblings actually went there, I have 9 of them.
That's a whole lot.
Since most of them went there, then I guess it was easy for them to actually pick me in that school. But the experience was great. And that's where I actually started my whole sporting life. Because in first form, I started playing netball, and from there, the friends I met, today my best friend, we're still best friends, and we met at the Goodwill Secondary School. So it was really a good experience. I got to take part in a lot of extracurricular activities, balance my schoolwork with sports. It was really good.
Let us talk some more while I'm with you, Khadija, about the sports elements of your life, of your upbringing, of school. How important was that for you? And what was that first thing that made you decide, I've got some sports skills? What was that first sporting activity that you took part in that led to that?
Well, since primary school, I started off with track and field, doing long jump and pair running. My cousins, they were always faster than me, so I did not stay. But then when I went to high school in first form, I met my friend, and she was like, so Miss Dominica has netball this afternoon, and I would really like for you to join me in practicing. And I was like, I think I should do that. And then after, I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And then I went, and I learned the sport, and I loved it. So I continued, and I moved on to basketball and also football. So it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You enjoy doing your sporting activities. Have you ever represented Dominica on the national level?
I have.
Okay.
Many times since 2011.
2011.
So
In what areas?
In netball, that was my very first time on the 16 netball in St. Kitts, and then I started playing football, and then I went to the Dominican Republic also in 2011, and then from there I went to Trinidad and Tobago. Then I played at home in the stadium, Windsor Park Sports Stadium. I went to a lot of other islands in the Caribbean, Suriname. I went to St. Kitts again, Guadeloupe, Martinique. So it's really been a great experience, and I think sports has that effect on you where you can not only represent your country, but you can have fun doing it as well.
All right, Savahnn, let's talk about your extracurricular activities. What is it that you enjoy doing?
I enjoy, it's not much of an extracurricular activity, but it's something that I love doing. I love to cook. I will cook. I love to
me and you.
It's something that I enjoy doing my mom. I started as a child. I would help out in the kitchen, and after a while she saw that, I can hold my own. So she started making me make lunch, make dinner, and I've grown to love it, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I really do love to cook.
Cooking?
Yes.
All right. I guess you were not into the sports business.
No. high school. I was part of the White People Dance Theatre Company and the dance group in my school, Miss Nation's Dance Troupe, but I did not continue with it. Actually, very active things is not that's not up my alley. But yes, I'm not into sports, but I really do love to cook.
Your dad is into music?
Yes.
Are you into music?
Not as much as I like listening, but I'm not so strong in playing. I'm not so strong in playing.
So you're entertaining me quite a bit here this evening, quite a bit. All right, let us talk about where you've gone to school, and I would presume the next thing is to enter the world of work. So what do you do?
I work at the National Bank of Dominica as a customer service representative. National Bank, of course, the most prestigious institution, I may add, financial institution, of course. At the National Bank, I am a customer service representative, so I do basic transactions for customers over the counter, like withdrawals, deposits. Sometimes I do wires, drafts. I also do, currently I work in the night deposit safe, so I do night bags on a daily basis, and then I come out on the front line after a certain time to assist customers. I appreciate working at the National Bank because although it is not what I want to do in life, I don't want to work in a bank for the rest of my life.
And that's okay.
But I think it is important to have that knowledge, and it really helps with my people skills, customer service. You never know where you may end up in life, so I think it is good to have that experience, dealing with people, working with other people, and it will help me when I go on to other jobs and so on. I already know how to interact with people in the work setting, and I think it's important to have that. So I appreciate that job. I love my co-workers. I love working at National Bank, and of course they are my sponsor. So that's great, and I appreciate them for sponsoring me. They really have gone above and beyond for me thus far, and I can say thank you to them, not only for employing me, but for sponsoring me.
And while you're at the mic and you're talking about your sponsors, I know you actually have 2 sponsors.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the opportunity to acknowledge both of your sponsors.
Again, thank you to both of them, Greens Wholesale and the National Bank of Dominica. So Greens Wholesale, their slogan is prices are born here and raised elsewhere, of course, and that is very true. So they are the #1 leaders in retail, wholesale, and supermarket services. They are the agents for Danny products. They have a range. They actually recently got a wide range of Jergens skin cream. They are the agents for Happy Cow cheese. National Bank of Dominica, your partner, your bank, as you already know. I can say they have the best internet banking. They have mobile banking. They make banking easy for you, literally. They have the best internet banking. They actually now have e-statements. They're trying to go paperless, and I think that really ties in well with who I am. I'm trying to save the environment, one step at a time, and of course National Bank of Dominica, their values are very similar to mine, so when they came on board as a sponsor, I thought it was perfect. They were the perfect choice for me, and coincidentally, both of them, their main color is green. Again, green.
So that works well for you.
Very much.
But I'm going to send you a bill tomorrow. Yes, Kadisha. What was the question? Where were we? We were on talking about where you work.
So I am a customer service representative at Clare Harbour, Dominica.
Right.
And with Clare Harbour, you get first-hand customer service. And I believe customer service is very important today in the world. And Dominica, this is something I believe that we lack. So gaining the experience at Clare Harbour, I can easily identify where there is good customer service and bad customer service. I have been working there for about 4 years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
What has the overall experience been like working for a company like Clare Harbour? And we know that Clare Harbour has provided job opportunities for quite a bit of young people in Dominica as well.
Working at Clare Harbour, for me, it has been great. Sometimes it can be a bit stressful because we have to meet the clients' goals and everything, but overall it has been a good experience for me because I am a person that is determined, so I push myself. I know sometimes it can be tiring. Your supervisor's on your back, manager on your back, you need to do this, you need to bring up your goals and everything, but working at Clare Harbour, for me, it has been great. it.
Oh,
I guess that's the reason I'm still here.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And the follow-up question was, well, you're not yet sponsored. Not yet, right? All right, we're going to appeal to the sponsors tonight. So why should somebody who is listening, representing a company in Dominica or even outside of Dominica, why should they sponsor Khadijah Joseph?
Because my intentions are pure. I am really passionate about the youth and their development. Khadijah Joseph will be a great representative and ambassador for Dominica. I have been doing it through sports and I will continue doing it. So I am appealing to all the sponsors listening that you should get on board with the DFC and sponsor me.
Yes, get on board and sponsor Khadijah and sponsor her participation in the Miss Dominica pageant 2020. If you're just joining the program, we are continuing with our series featuring the Miss Dominica contestants for the 2020 Queen pageant taking place on the 20th of February. That's a Thursday at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Last week we started with the first 4 contestants, so if you missed it, if you go on my page, you can catch up on it after we're done tonight. You can get to see those ladies. And again, last week we had Elnara Emmanuel, and we had Kimra was second. Primrose is second. Oh, Primrose is second.
Yeah.
So Primrose David, then Kimra and Melanie, and they both carried the last name Charles.
Yes.
I forgot to ask them if they were related last time, but I didn't get around to doing that. Have you all picked up on that? If they're related at all, those two? You don't think they're related? They just happen to have the same last name. All right, ladies, let's talk about preparations for this. Well, before we even start about preparations, let us talk first about why each of you decided to take part in the Miss Dominica pageant.
I decided, of course, like I mentioned earlier, mainly because of the scholarship that is awarded to the winner. At first, I didn't want to go up for the show. Malik used to, my chaperone, my co-chaperone, he used to say, Savahnn, you have it. Savahnn, we can win this, let's go up for Miss Dominica. I used to say, I'm not putting myself out there like that. I can't do that. And then after some consideration, I talked to some of my friends and they were like, but Savahnn, we've been telling you this your whole life. You are made for this. I'm like, okay, I thought about it. I did some reflection. I talked to my parents and I was like, okay, maybe I'll take this bold step. And then, of course, I know that the scholarship is one of the prizes given to the winner. I was like, I really want to push my platform. I really want to further my education when it comes to the environment and become an environmental engineer. To come back home to really develop Dominica, I'm very passionate about that, and I think that it is very commendable that a scholarship, a full scholarship at that, is awarded. And I know that my parents might not be able to fund my studies overseas, so I could not let this opportunity pass me by. And again, it is a way that I can develop Dominica and really educate the public on the environment. I believe that we are stewards of the earth and it is really our job to take care of the earth because it provides for us in so many ways that we don't know. And as we can see, a lot is changing right now and it is our job. We really have to do something about it. And so this is the perfect platform for me and I'm very excited.
All right, so that's your reason?
Yes.
All right, Khadijah, let me hear from you.
So I've always been looking at pageants.
Uh-huh.
I started going to the Princess Show, Teenage Pageant, Mass Jamboree, the Miss Dominica, and I picture myself and I'm like, you can do this, like you should try it out. And my brother,
A guy.
my brother, he, every year, he say, Khadijah, you need to go for Miss Dominica. And because of my love also for our culture here in Dominica, I just felt like I needed to be a part. I needed to make my contribution to Dominica's culture. So I decided, hey, I'm already 24, this is your last chance and you should go for it. So I convinced myself, and also my friend, she threatened me. She said,
What did she say?
If you do not go up, we're never speaking again. So I had to. This was my chance, and I said, okay.
What about the scholarship? Was that a driver as well?
It was also because I do plan on furthering my studies overseas as well. So this was also one, but not the main reason. The main reason is because I really wanted to be a part of our culture, celebrate our culture here in Dominica.
All right. Anybody has pageant experience?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes. I went up for the Carnival Princess show and I went second runner-up.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you, Kadisha?
No, this is my very first.
You're a pageant virgin, you could say. All right, ladies. So you made the decision, and you went through the process. We met all of you all, quite a bit of you all actually, and now you're here. What has this been like up to this point?
It has been hard. I'm not even going to pretend. It has been hard. Like, so much work you have to put in. Your schedule changes, your eating changes, your exercising, everything changes. But so far, I can say that it has been good. It teaches you, like, every day how to present yourself properly, because people are looking at you, so you always have to be on point. You go to work, you have to sit properly, you have to speak properly, you have to
walk in heels
properly, walk in heels every day.
Every day. The way you said I walk in heels every day, and you just 3 arms into your lap.
But overall,
not the favorite part,
well, basically, every day you have to wear the makeup, and it's a task.
It's a
task.
task.
Every day you have to wear the makeup, and because people are looking at you, and you don't want to give them the wrong impression. You want them to see you, tell the difference, and everything. So, and while we're on that, Savahnn and I, we actually met at the interview. We were there waiting together.
I see.
Fit checking. It was like a month past, getting no word, and checking what's happening. I look for Savahnn on Instagram. I say, Savahnn, anyone yet? Anyone yet? And then after when we finally got the email, I was like, and I saw Savahn's name, I was like, yeah,
oh, so you all became friends from then on.
Yes.
Interesting.
And we have mutual friends together.
Yeah,
so,
mutual friends.
Yeah.
We knew each other a bit before.
Okay, all right. So I'm coming to you, Savahnn. So you said that the journey it's almost like striking a balance for you in that there's the good and there's the challenging elements of it. But what has been the most challenging for you though to this point?
I would say trying to keep up with everything. Basically maintain my schedule. You have gym, you have practice with the team, practice with the committee. Basically balancing everything. Sometimes you don't even have a good free time for yourself, so that becomes a bit somewhat uncomfortable. But once you're determined and you know what you're about, then that is enough motivation for you to actually push and go forward.
What has been the most fun?
These snacks.
Okay, so I can tell all of us here are foodies. Savahnn loves to cook, you love to eat. This has been the most fun for her, the snacks. Savahnn, let us talk about how this journey has been so far for you.
Difficult, if I do say so. It has been a life-changing experience. Having to wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to gym. It's not something that I'm accustomed to at all. So I really had to make a complete change to my schedule before I wake up at 7 o'clock, get dressed, go to work, and that was it. So now having to get up at 5, go to the gym. Actually, one of my team members comes to the gym with me to make sure that I go to the gym.
At 5?
Yes.
Oh, that is dedication.
Yes, and to them, they don't think I would go.
I
don't blame them.
Are they right?
I don't blame them.
Are they right? Are they right?
Yes.
Okay.
So she comes with me to the gym, and then after the gym we have to go to work, and you still have to do your work to the best of your ability. So that is a task for me. Also, something that I've struggled with on this journey is my confidence. I get very crippling nervousness. So it is hard for me sometimes. Simple speeches, I know my speech, I know I have to just go and say my speech, but for some reason, as soon as I get there, I don't know the speech. So it's a bit difficult just having to face my fears, but I think I've come a long way. I remember Creole in the Park, we had to do our first presentation and we were heading to the stage and Malik was walking right next to me on our way to the stage, and I was like, Malik, I'm going to vomit. Malik, I'm going to vomit. I was so afraid. I felt my stomach was like in my throat.
Oh my goodness.
And then after a while, every time you present yourself, you have to speak, so you get accustomed to it. Now I'm not 100%, but I am a lot better than I started. And it's not to say I don't know this stuff, it's just that I'm nervous. So that has been a challenge for me, really not trying to stay calm and stay confident and know that I know my stuff, so don't be so worried about it. The most difficult thing for me is the gym. Waking up in the morning and going to the gym, I cannot deal. Not being able to eat KFC, that's my favorite food. I love to cook, but I also love to eat out. So I like to eat my pasta by Escape, I like to go by KFC and eat my chicken, and I cannot do that right now. So it's difficult for me seeing all my friends eating KFC in work and I cannot indulge. But I know that once I win my crown, as soon as Friday morning hits, I'm going straight to KFC because that's my reward to myself. So it has been hard.
Let me share with you, Savahnn, and if my sisters, my family, well, my sisters should be listening or viewing, but if they remember, when I took part in the Miss Dominica pageant, obviously, I was like you, I couldn't eat certain things, and I remember on the night of the pageant, on our way up, I asked that they stop by Spider, and I bought 2 chicken.
I think I need to do that. I need a request. I need to buy some KFC the night of the cheesecake.
You need cheesecake?
It's hard.
Oh my goodness. Trust me, yes,
You
definitely.
should know.
Yes, I'm telling you, I
Better than
stopped. I said, can we just stop by Spider? I want 2 chicken, 2 whole legs. Yes. What has been the most fun though for you, Savahnn? The most enjoyable?
The most enjoyable would be being with the girls and laughing. Actually, yesterday we had to wait for Khadija to get ready and we had a jam session at the DFC. We put on some music and we were dancing and having fun waiting for her. I know. Spending time with the girls is actually very good. Yes, it's a competition and all, but I think that we are friends and genuine, we are friends, and I think it will continue after. We have some outings planned for after the show, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it's a great group of girls and they are really nice people, and I'm happy that I met them. So going to practice while we're waiting for someone to come up the stage, we dancing at the back, we having fun, of course, help each other, teach each other how to turn. Somebody might be able to do that turn, so they come, they help us do that, and it's really, I had a great time with the girls. I must say, honestly, I have no complaints and it's been amazing.
That's quite commendable, and I think I had a similar conversation with one of the groups last week. We normally hear that, me and my 6 sisters, the cliche. We hear it, but then, on the night of the pageant, somebody wins and then all hell breaks loose and people are no longer friends and all of that. So I really do hope, I would really do hope that you all continue the friendship that you've developed during this journey thus far. You mentioned yesterday while Khadija was getting ready, you all were there dancing and having a good time. So that meant your launches took place yesterday.
Yes.
I remember watching a bit and I saw a trolley on the road and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Tell me about your launching yesterday.
My launching was amazing. It exceeded my expectations. A big thank you to my team for that, because a lot of the things I didn't know were going to happen, and I think that made it extra special. There's a part in the program where somebody has to present you. You have to select somebody, whether it's in your community or in your family, to present you. And I remember I don't know anybody that's high in society that can really present me, who really knows me. So I said, I don't know what to do. So my chaperone was like, okay, don't worry, we'll
figure it out.
At the launching yesterday, they presented a video and my mom, my co-workers, my past teachers, they all said something about me, and from the time it began, I started crying. And I told myself, oh no, I'm not going to cry, I'm not a big crier, I got this, I'm tough, and I broke down because it's nice to see when people really believe in you, and I've had problems believing in myself during this journey and really having a lot of confidence. A lot of people might be like, oh, but Savahnn, you're great for this, how come you so nervous? But just seeing them believing in me, and they've seen me at my lowest moments, and yesterday just meant the world and more to me to see that video. And a lot of the performances were really nice. I had the Umoja girls from CHS. I was a past Umoja girl, so it was nice to see them, and I had fun on the motorcade. I was on a train actually, and I had a lot of fun. I hopped off the train after a while and I started dancing in the road because there was a great energy, there was a positivity, just everybody there rooting for my success. So I had an amazing time. It was 10 on 10, I must say.
Oh, all right, good stuff. And you credit that to your team?
Yes.
All right.
I would have to agree with Savahnn. Her launching was really great.
Thank
you.
But from mine,
oh, that's nice. So you compliment her on hers, and then you, oh, that's awesome.
customer service.
Yes.
Yes, mine was amazing. I did not know what to expect. It was great. I must commend my team. They really went out of their way to put this great launching together. And what was really interesting is seeing all these sporting disciplines actually came to represent me. It was amazing. I
had a good time.
I'm a bit speechless
It
right
made
now.
you
I didn't
emotional.
know what to say. It was like fences. They did a display, and that was first time I actually seen fencing in Dominica.
They were actually on the road on during the opening. So I got to see a bit of that.
So, but it was great, and I would like to say thank you to my team for putting this launching together. I really, really enjoyed it. And like Savahnn said, the motorcade, I was dancing, and it was just great, and everything was fine.
It was a fun time.
It was.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So both launches, in your view, were
10 on
successes
10.
yesterday.
Yes.
10 on 10 too.
Yes.
100%. 10 on 10. All right, ladies, how prepared are you for February 20th? At this point, the show is what? How far away? 3 weeks?
Yes.
3 weeks thereabouts. And Kadisha, even if at this point you do not yet have a sponsor, we know that you will be provided for by the DFC and Discover Dominica Authority. So at least you do not have that headache. We still want to say to the sponsors that we need a sponsor to come on board and support Kadisha. But I know you will be taken care of otherwise. Tell us about how prepared you are at this point.
I am really prepared. I'm very prepared. Just waiting to have fun and execute. I'm just waiting. Everything is in place. The designs of the dress, swimsuit, costume. We have the music selected already. Practicing, walking, turns. I'm just ready.
You're just ready.
Yes.
All right. Almost there.
Almost there. Let's just say about 8 on 10. No missing a 2.
But that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
So it's just about executing right now.
Okay.
I can agree with Khadija. I think I'm at an 8 on 10. I am confident in what I have to showcase on the night of the show, and I really, like she said, I'm looking forward to having fun. I work this hard. I'm ready to have fun. I just want to go out on the night of the show, and no matter what happens, I know that it was a great experience for me. So everything is in place, and I'm ready to really make my team proud, make my family proud, and everybody is rooting for me, whether I know them or not. I am ready to make them proud. I'm ready to take home the crown.
One of the areas that you usually hear patrons to the show speak to is the talents. A lot of times people feel that, it's the usual drama, and, sometimes people say, well, girls don't really have talent and so on. Are you going to give a different view of this on February 20th?
I believe everyone has a talent. It's just a matter of identifying your talents and showcasing it on the night.
All right, Savahnn.
Yes, I do believe that the talents will be different this year because we are a very great group of girls, and I can definitely say that everybody will bring their best on the night of the show. I can't wait for you all to see what I have in store for you, and I know I will not disappoint all of us.
Question and answer. How do we feel about question and answer at this point?
I think I will be good once I can get over my nervousness.
Yes.
And I can boost that confidence. I will be quite alright.
Same. I think that I know what I need to say. I just need to
Be able
know
to
when
say
to
it,
stop. know when to stop, basically.
You need to just get over the nervousness.
Yes.
Once you get over the nervousness and you pay attention to the topics that are given to you, and pay attention to some of the questions you've heard. You know, some of the questions that we give you in the practice sessions as well. It's normally around those lines. It's normally along those lines. So just prepare yourself. Put the nervousness in your body. You wouldn't have a back pocket, but just throw it behind you as you come in. That's I like that. Alright, time is already creeping up on us, but ladies, let us talk some more about your platforms and what you focused on this year as you compete in the Miss Dominica pageant. Who's first? Go ahead.
Well, my platform is sustainable living through renewable energy. And like I mentioned before, I want to study environmental engineering. I chose this platform because, again, we are stewards of the earth, and I am very passionate about taking care of the earth and preserving it for future generations. As you can see, a lot of things are happening in our environment right now, and we living in the Caribbean, in Dominica, we are feeling the after effects. Of course, we are not a big country, we are probably not contributing the most pollution, but we are feeling it the hardest, sometimes in comparison to some of the bigger countries. And I think that the focus on renewable energy, which is actually what I want to study, environmental engineering with the focus in renewable engineering, I think we have the resources here in Dominica to be able to develop our renewable energy, even in small things like having solar energy at the hospital. After hurricanes and so on, we can rely on that instead of, Domlec and so on for power to keep the hospital going. I think that we already have a geothermal plant, but I think that we can really develop on it. We can develop our hydroelectricity and even small things we do at home. When my parents and I moved to Louisville, I don't live in Roseau anymore, but we moved to Louisville, and I insisted that my father install solar panels. And I think that it is important for every Dominican to at least try to do something to save the environment, even if it may not be in renewable energy. That's what I want to focus on. But there is something that each one of us can do to save the environment. Stop using the plastic. Stop throwing the plastic in the drains. That actually affects our marine life, and it comes right back to us. So my platform, yes, it is renewable energy, but it is the environment overall, because we are seeing what's happening and we are feeling it every year. Our sister islands are feeling it. The Caribbean is feeling it. Even the bigger countries are feeling the colder winters. And I think that it is time to educate people on that. And I'm glad that the Miss Dominica provides this platform, because I think we need to be more educated on that.
On my platform, Youth Empowerment for the Advocate of Sports, I don't think that came as a surprise to anyone, because sports is basically me. So with the opportunities and what sports can do for you, I wanted to push it more, because I don't think that enough is being done in Dominica by the government and the associations. I don't think enough is being done. So when I decided to go for to participate in the pageant, I felt like sports, I really need to refocus, to bring the focus back to sports in Dominica, because I think we have great athletes here and even upcoming athletes, and I think that enough is not being done, and I really want to raise awareness about sports, and I wanted to be that advocate for other athletes. Not everyone gets the opportunity to advocate, and using the Miss Dominica pageant, I think that is a great avenue, a great platform to raise awareness and make everyone aware that, hey, athletes do matter, we need more to be done for athletes and so on. And myself, of course, because I'm still an athlete, I still play, so I want more to be done for myself as well. So that's basically why I chose that platform.
Can we take these platforms beyond Miss Dominica, win or lose?
Definitely.
Well, there's no losers. Let's get that correct. But whether or not you win the crown.
Definitely. Like I said, I am an athlete, so even if I am not the winner, I did not get the crown, but I will definitely continue on my platform. One of my plans is to give back to my secondary school, my past secondary school, and I want to make it an annual gesture that at every graduation ceremony to actually donate an award named after Kadisha Joseph.
Okay.
So be it a netball award or football, I'm not decided.
Okay.
It might just be football.
Okay.
Probably netball.
Okay. Okay.
But that is one thing I want to do moving forward, even if that's beyond as long as I can.
As long as you can. As long as you can. As well, you too.
Of course, that's what I want to study. I want to get my bachelor's degree in environmental engineering with a focus on renewable energy. So it is my platform. That's exactly what I want to study, and hopefully, my past high school, as she mentioned, actually had an environmental club, and one of the things I wanted to do whilst I was on this journey was to join them and maybe raise awareness for the things that they're already doing. Because I think that, again, people, the youth don't really, I don't want to say they don't care, but they aren't aware of the environment, they aren't aware of the things that they do that really contributes to the environment. So I think joining hands with my school and the environmental clubs of different schools in Dominica, not just the Convent High School, we can really, like she said, raise awareness for what's important to me.
Mm-hmm. Ladies, what has this journey taught you so far? Any lesson that you've learned from all of this?
It has taught me that I am capable.
Okay.
Do not doubt yourself, Savahnn. You can do it, because most times when I'm afraid and I'm there, Malik, I cannot do this, I'm not going to do well, I go on stage and I execute. So hopefully that transcends into the night of the show. But so far, I'm very proud of myself, because I'm so scared before. Like, I was so scared coming to this interview, and here we are. I think I'm doing quite fine, and I'm just proud of myself for being able to go on the stage, even at the girls' launching. Sometimes before we speak, I'm so nervous, I'm shaking, and I go up there, I speak well, and I'm proud of myself for that, because it really has been a struggle for me. And something else that I can speak about is my body. I was very reserved, and of course I will join my costume band, but I get to choose my costume. But right now I have no choice but to be in that bath suit and work the bath suit. So really having that confidence, in my swimwear I'm proud of myself. We had to take the pictures, the official pictures in the swimwear, and I'm happy that I could even go through with it. And so I've made a lot of progress, and I am really proud to see who I am today. This journey has changed me, and it has made me a better person.
All right.
Same like Savahnn said, it helped me with my confidence being on stage. I never imagined myself being on stage before. Some people say, but you play football, so that should be, you represent Dominica, that should be normal. But it's quite different. Football is my comfort zone. This is a bit out of my comfort zone. So there are a lot of adjustments that had to be made. I had to tell myself, Kadisha, you need to do this. Mm-hmm. You can do it. And so overall, it helped with my self-esteem as well. You know, at work, people were like, Queen Kadi, and so it's a great feeling. And I think the Miss Dominica, and also with your personal appearance and everything, I think that the Miss Dominica pageant helps, and it has been something. Also the friendship that we grew, I think that is we grew here. Also that I believe that the Miss Dominica pageant is a good one.
All right, ladies, we have to have your final comments now, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a couple of things, thank who you need to thank, and get persons ready for Thursday, February 20th, 2020. You first this time.
Okay. So again, good night to everyone listening, and I would like to invite each and every one of you to come out and support us, the 7 beauties, as we vie for the title of Miss Dominica 2020. Come again, while I will be sharing my platform with you, the youth empowerment through the advert of sports. Thank you.
Good night again, everyone. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all enjoyed our interview here today with Fedina. I would like to thank my sponsor, National Bank of Dominica and the Greens Wholesale. They are amazing sponsors, and they have gone above and beyond for me. So thank you again to Team Savahnn. Thank you. I know you're listening. I love you all. To my mom and dad, thank you. And to all my supporters, thank you. I want to invite you all to come out on the night of February 20th to support my sisters and I as we vie for the title of Miss Dominica. Trust me, we will put on a show.
All right. Okay, folks, so that's round one for tonight. And we had Savahnn and Kadisha, and we thank these ladies for being here with us. And we are just going to take a moment to switch over so we can get Shannon Centelaire in the hot seat, you could say, for her half an hour in the spotlight. So ladies, thank you very much and all the best to the both of you. All right. Okay, Facebookers. Okay, please, you can escape. Tell them bye. We're keeping the live Facebookers because we're just going to switch over to the next young lady. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye, ladies. And just ask ask Shannon to come in, please. If Miss Dominica wants to come in still, she can. You're after, but you can come in still if you want. Or if you want to stay outside the mommy still, that's fine. Oh gosh, you're tall.
I am.
What's your name? Yes. Let us just see if we can get this high. Right here for Shannon.
For myself, I wouldn't sit so close to the camera.
Okay, so you go here then if you're more comfortable here.
Don't want everyone to see my smile line.
Yes. So you just move this, but then you just lift this all the way up. You can go up. Yeah, right here. Awesome. That works.
One time.
And we are back already at 9:06. The time in the studios here at Q95 FM radio. We just switched from the two last contestants, Savahnn James and Kadisha Joseph. And we have one more contestant and one reigning Miss Dominica coming up. But of course we have to do Shannon on her own because she's the odd number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7, she
yes.
said. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have to do Shannon on her own, and I suspect she's quite fine with that. Let's just make sure we have the correct mic for her. And say good evening right away.
Good evening, everyone.
Alright, so let's see if we can get the mic closer to you, Shannon. Just pull it, or you come closer, or you just pull it to you. Whatever works for you.
I'll get up, do
Yes.
this properly.
Alright, folks, so yes, we're just moving on to the next contestant. You know that happens, so we're just getting things going right here. Yes, and we are good. Yes, Shannon, let's go again. Good evening to
Good
you.
evening, everyone. Hello, I'm Shannon Centelaire, the representative of the Super and Scotset communities.
Alright, so let's make sure we have the right mic as well. Yes, good evening to you, my dear. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a little strange for me doing one.
Really?
Considering that I just had 2, and then
Right.
I'm going to do one again with Marisol, so that's quite fine. So, Shannon, let me allow you the opportunity, first and foremost, to say good evening to everyone listening and anybody in particular that you would like to shout out.
Well, good evening to all the listeners. Again, I'm Shannon Centelaire, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my professor at Hull's International Business School, Professor Donald Wilcox. I know he's been following my journey, and I think he's listening tonight because I did tell him I was going to be on the radio tonight.
All right, so Dr.
Professor Donald Wilcox
gets a special big
He
up
gets a
tonight.
special big up.
All right, okay. Shannon, let us get to know a bit about you. We've seen photographs, we've heard you a few places, but there's still probably quite a few persons out there who do not know who you are or where you come from. So for those who are out there listening, those who are viewing on the live, introduce yourself to us.
Okay, well, I am Shannon Centelaire again. I am currently 22 years old. I'll be 23 on the 7th of February, which is only a week away, a week or two away actually. I recently graduated from Holt International Business School in London in August. And as soon as I graduated, I returned home and I started training and preparing for the pageant. I am also representing the Super and Scotshead communities. Although I did not grow up in Soufriere, I still felt it right to represent the village that my parents grew up in, and I still feel very connected to my community in various ways, and I felt it was just the right decision to represent Soufriere. I actually live in Castle Comfort, but I know everyone in Soufriere is very much supportive of my participation.
Mm-hmm. And so how did I know you say they are supportive, how did the persons in this community, this particular community, feel about you not only contesting the Miss Dominica pageant, but you saying that you're actually representing that community?
I think they're absolutely over the moon because it's been 24 years since someone represented Soufriere at the national pageant, and the last person to do that was actually my aunt, I believe in the same year as you.
Is that so?
Yes, Bertilia Feltier,
Is she?
1996.
I didn't know she was your aunt.
Yes, my maternal aunt.
Yes, indeed. She was first runner-up.
She was first runner-up.
Yes.
And I know you cooked Miss Intelligence.
Yes,
That
I did. And of course, Miss Amity.
Oh yes.
Who would have thought otherwise, right?
Now I can see why. So friendly.
Yes. So, so you're representing Soufriere and Castle Comfort.
Well, no,
Or
just
are you just in
Soufriere.
Soufriere?
Just Soufriere and Scotshead. I only lived in Castle Comfort for about, well, a year. I'll say a year because I was at business school.
Okay.
So the year before I left, I stayed a year at Castle Comfort. So
Okay.
I am not really involved in the community as much. So represent Soufriere was because sort of bring something for my parents in a way. So yes.
So tell me about your connection. Tell us a bit more about your connection to Soufriere.
My connection is all family related. So my maternal and paternal families are from Soufriere. We have a mix of French, African, and Kalinago ancestry. I like to say Soufriere is very community oriented, and there's a lot of collective activism, and it's just like a huge family. I recently did a documentary, and I spoke about, yes I did, I spoke about how the community is just so united, and even the beach, I did the interview at the beach, and I said the beach is almost like a living room for the people. You know, people love to congregate there. So it's my family. Everybody is related. I'm also a Tavernier. So, and there's a lot of Taverniers in Soufriere.
Tell me about your childhood and the aspect of your life growing up as a child.
In my childhood, if I'm honest, I was very shy and very insecure. I was not sure of myself and who I wanted to be. I think I very much wanted to emulate other people around me and not search within myself. So I was not involved in a lot of community activities. I was not involved in a lot of school activities, and it's not to say that I regret not doing that. I think I had to go through all those things to be the person that I am today. But
so what did you do as a child?
what did I do? I read a lot.
You read a lot.
And I watched a lot of documentaries to build my knowledge. I was not very active. I was a bit chubbier. I was.
Unbelievable.
And I lost the weight. It was just that determination to be healthy.
How much chubbier?
I would say my heaviest, probably 195.
No way.
Well, I have to take my height into consideration as well. But yes, I was a bit chubby and I managed to lose the weight.
How did you do it? Not that I'm trying to find out for myself.
No.
I'm just, just asking.
I know. It was mostly dieting. I
Okay.
didn't really do it again. I'm not such an active person. I really did have to find it within me to get into shape for the pageants. But it was mostly dieting, just eating healthier, greener. And that's what I did.
It is very important that the young ladies who represent the country, we say as an ambassador, or the young lady who wins the crown, that you be educated. And even when we looked at the Miss Universe pageant, we see that they're moving a lot into that intelligence element of the young women. So in the past, you'd probably just see the interview segment, but there's so much more now going on, and we want the ladies that we send out to represent Dominica to be bright, to be intelligent. Tell us about your education, more about your education, and let us bring in as well the element of the scholarship in the pageant. Is this something that motivated you to take part in the pageant?
It definitely was. If I'm honest again, it was not a primary factor in my decision making, but of course it was very attractive, the scholarship. I was also offered a scholarship at my business school to do my master's, but I also turned that down because I felt it right to come home and do something beyond my everyday, something beyond my academic capacity. And so I said, okay, I'll do the pageants, and I know there's a scholarship attached, so I think that's a very good avenue to take, and that's what I did.
So tell us what you did in terms of your bachelor's.
I disciplines in general business.
Okay.
Yes. I did a lot of marketing classes, accounting, entrepreneurship, ethics. Ethics is something that's very important to me, and when I had to decide on which courses I wanted to take, I ensured that each course had an element of ethics involved. Yes, it's very important.
It's very important.
In this day and age, yes.
So what is it that Shannon aspires to be?
Well, I definitely want to be an environmental lawyer, and I only made that decision about a few months ago. I did not know what I wanted to be, and I think a lot of students go into undergraduate school quite uncertain of what exactly they want to be, and that's all right because that's what I did. I knew that I liked business, but I knew somehow I would figure out exactly what I wanted to be, and it was only at the end, close to Hurricane Maria, and I became more environmentally inclined. And my professor, I took a lot of law classes, and my professor found that I was the best, so he very much encouraged me to continue doing law. And I sat down with him one day while I was doing my dissertation. He helped me complete that as well, and he said, you should be a lawyer. I'm like, I know, I love law, but I'm so emotional. I don't know if I should go in the traditional arena for criminology. And he said, why don't you do environmental law? So I was like, okay, that can work because I am very passionate about the environment, and I have the necessary skills to be a lawyer. So from then, we kept on doing meetings, and he gave me newspapers and past cases, and I read them, and then he said, you know what, you should do this. And I told him I would like to go home and do the pageant to raise more awareness about changes in our environment. And he said, well, why a pageant? It's like, that's not you. I'm like, well, I think it's the best platform. I don't think there are a lot of platforms available for young women like myself, Dominica, sadly. And I thought, okay, should I do the pageant, or should I just go on Facebook Live and start talking about my opinions? And I said, the pageant will probably be best because we do have a large audience. A lot of people do watch it regionally, even internationally. So I thought that would be the best avenue to take.
So the goal is to be an environmental lawyer.
Lawyer, yes.
That's what the career choice.
Yes, I was just showing you how I made that decision.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that with us. So I'll probably get to the platform with you then, seeing that you're so passionate about the platform. Let us talk about the platform, what it is and what you intend on doing.
So my platform is on marine conservation, and I'm concentrating on the eradication of single-use plastics. In the beginning, I really wanted to just speak about climate change in general, but I realized it was very broad. There's a lot to cover, and I thought it would be best to narrow it down to something that is relative to Dominica, and seeing that we're so dependent on or see how the marine environment for our lifestyles, for our economy, for tourism, it was the best thing to do. And even if we're working towards climate resiliency and the eradication of single-use plastics, I still think there still needs to be more education about it, and there is room for people to change in that area.
How are you going to use the Miss Dominica, or how have you been using the Miss Dominica pageant to bring your platform to life? And how do you intend on continuing beyond the Miss Dominica pageant, whether you win or not?
Okay, so even now, I think this is, again, another wonderful platform in connection with the Miss Dominica platform to speak about my platform on marine conservation. And even after the pageant, I would hope to start my own program, my own NGO, and encourage young girls to take up activities such as scuba diving. I think it's important for people to be in that setting that they're learning about. You know, it's one thing to be in a classroom and hear certain things, but it's another thing to actually be there, hands-on, and see the activities, what's changing. So that's one initiative I would like to do after win or lose.
Win or lose. You mentioned a bit as it relates to why you decided to do the Miss Dominica pageant. Mm-hmm. Part of that has to do with what you shared with us in terms of your platform. Mm-hmm. Tell us more as to why you decided to do this other than that.
Other than the one I previously shared?
Yes.
I am very passionate about not just the environment, but life in general. Mm-hmm. I think to say that I'm passionate about the environment is marginal compared to how I feel about life. I think it's very important that we recognize our actions and we make the necessary amendments to improve our environment and everyone around us. And we have to also practice mindfulness, what we say and what we do. Every single action has such detrimental effects, you know, if you're not aware of what you're doing. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the Miss Dominica platform, to see things like this on air and live.
Do you have any pageant experience?
I do not. Absolutely nothing remotely close to a pageant, not modeling. I know you take pictures and everyone's like, you're a model. No, I think it takes a lot more skill to call yourself a model. But no, I have absolutely no pageantry experience. Although I think I was exposed to a little bit of it, seeing that my aunt went up for the Miss Dominica pageant, and even my mom did a bit of pageantry in the Sophia village too. So I did have a little exposure to it, but I never participated in anything remotely close to one.
And are you still happy at this point that you made this decision?
I'll be honest, I am still happy I'm doing it, but a lot of the principles and beliefs that I have as an individual sort of contradict my participation in the pageant.
Tell me more.
You know, everyone's looking like, what?
Yes.
No, it's true. I'm very much passionate about encouraging young girls to be who they are and not what other people want them to be or look like. And I still feel like our pageantry can evolve. Mm-hmm. Like how the international pageants have evolved. It's not so much about what you look like. And as you said a minute ago, there's a lot of focus on intelligence. And it's not that we don't highlight that. I just think we can perhaps focus more on the individual, the person inside and not the person outside, because perfection does not exist. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And we see this in our environments.
So, in the end, though, I'm getting from you that although participating in the pageant may contradict some of your beliefs,
absolutely,
your decision to do so because of your platform, I would want to think, is overriding
100%
the contradictions that you have.
Yes, I actually wrote down before I came down from England, I have this little notebook. I wrote down every single objective that I want to fulfill, win or lose. And every morning I look at it because I'm like, it's so much, it's training, but I need to do this.
Because of this.
Because of my platform, because I want to see the world a better place.
Oh, all right. So if you're just tuning in, this is Shannon Centelaire, contestant number 7 in the Miss Dominica pageant. Again, the pageant takes place on February 20th, which is a Thursday, at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Let us talk about what the journey has been like so far for you, Shannon.
It's been a mix of emotions. There are days when I'm very excited, very happy to get going, learning something new. But there are also days when I have my moments and I kind of question again my participation. But again, the objectives that I set is what's driving me. Preparation-wise, everything is going swimmingly. I have an amazing Team Amazonian, and they're just amazing. I had to ensure that everything with my participation correlated, and that included my team. So each person in my team sort of has the same belief system that I do, and I think that's why we work so well together.
What has been the biggest challenge for you so far during this journey?
I think walking.
Yes?
it's like being a baby and a toddler. Actually, I'm learning how to walk in heels because I've never worn heels before. I didn't need to.
Because you're very tall.
Because I'm very tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1.5".
That is tall. But are you overcoming?
I'm pushing again those objectives. My pinky toe can swell if it wants to. I can break my ankle, but I'll get back up and keep on going.
What for you though has, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what for you though has been the most enjoyable part of this?
I'll be honest, I like the dressing up. Although I'm in my natural setting, I am very minimalistic in my lifestyle, in my dressing, even in my food choices. So I very much like the dressing up. It's a change, and I think it's important that young girls know that they can assume both roles. You know, I know there's a bit of a phenomena out there where a lot of people are like, be natural, be natural. And some people feel like if you wear too much makeup or you have a lot of quote-unquote fake stuff on, you're kind of insecure. And that's totally not true. I want to be that example for young girls that you can do this, get glammed, do a pageant, but still be natural afterwards.
So you're saying leading up to this, you didn't walk in heels?
No, I didn't.
And you kept makeup at a minimum?
At a minimum.
So how has it been adjusting to all of that?
It's been easy.
It's been easy?
It has. Again, I have the objectives, you see, so even if I'm more comfortable being my natural self, I'm still okay with looking like a doll when I need to.
In terms of what you've had to do so far in the pageant, your launches, your participation in the parade and all of that, what has that experience been like?
It's been very, very amazing. I didn't think that I would be so into it, but I have, and I like how it was mandatory for us to attend each launching because it gave us a bit of experience to get used to the stage and people watching you and criticizing you. So it's all part of the journey, and I've been enjoying each part.
And you mentioned criticizing. As you said, it's all part of this experience, and there are people who will do that. I know Marisol knows that, you know, having been through this whole experience as well. And by the way, Marisol is here waiting for her little chat with me in a while. What do you do if you hear somebody says, you know, oh, this girl is too tall, or she's too whatever the case is? How do you handle that?
I grew up feeling very ostracized.
Because of your height?
Because of my height. I just look different from everybody else. So right now, I think I'm very secure in myself. And even if someone says, "Oh, you're too tall," or "Hey, tall girl," I mean, it's cute, but sometimes it's like, well, you know, I'm more than just my height. You know, I'm a whole person. You know, but I've always had people staring at me and asking, "Oh, why are you so tall?" And you know how we are Dominicans. Why are you so tall? No, your mother, your father, my dad actually. But no, it's just okay. I'm used to it. So it's been fine.
What has this this journey taught you as an individual in terms of the experience? Is there something that you've learned that probably you were not aware of before? You spoke just a while ago about, you know, there may be those who criticize, but what has this taught you?
I recently discovered that I have a little weak area. Yes, I'm very spiritual, so I tend to feed off other people's energy. So I realized, oh, I need to control that a bit, because in certain settings I would need to be a bit more strong, in the best word I can find at the moment, just be stronger. So it has taught me to ignore certain things and just focus on myself and what I'm doing.
And this is certainly helping you to prepare.
Yes, of course.
In this for this actual pageant. Are you currently employed?
I am.
Okay.
At Jungle Bay, actually.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so the pageant has opened a few doors for me already.
You mean you got employed since
Yes.
during the whole pageant?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. And they're also your sponsors, so let's talk
They are my
about them.
sponsor, yes. Well, thank you again, Sam Raphael, for sponsoring me, Jungle Bay, of course, Resort and Spa in Sophia. I am very happy that Jungle Bay, well, Sam decided to sponsor me, because, again, it was important that everything that I did for the pageant correlated, and that included my sponsorship. Jungle Bay's principles are absolutely reflected in my own, and I couldn't think of a better sponsor. Again, I'm truly thankful.
To Jungle Bay.
Yes.
To Jungle Bay. Shannon, which elements of the show are you most looking forward to and least looking forward to on the night of February 20th?
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to all. Even question and answer. I am ready for it. I know that's the most intimidating part, but I know myself and I'm quite confident in my own opinions. I'm going to stay with my own opinions.
Are you going to wow us in the talent segment as well?
I believe so. I have a little surprise at the end.
You have a little surprise at the end.
Yes, I
so
do.
you're already preparing us mentally to look out for what happens at the end.
I'm contestant number 7.
You are, indeed.
So I want everyone to like look forward to 7.
Shannon, we have to, I know it may appear that her time is shorter, but it's not. It's just because the others were 2 together.
Yeah.
But we're just about getting ready to wrap up with you. What would you like to say to the audience, the listening audience, as it relates to the Miss Dominica pageant and coming out to support you?
Okay. Well, everyone, I know it's a late night and I'm tired. I know you guys are tired too, but I want to encourage each and every one of you to come on the night of February 20th to support me and my fellow contestants as we vie for the title of Miss Dominica 2020. I promise you it will be an exciting show with a whole bunch of new talents, new personalities, and you won't regret it.
Good relationship with the ladies?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good group of girls?
Excellent.
Excellent group of girls. Shannon Santilla, contestant number 7 in the Miss Dominica pageant 2020. Let me thank you so much for joining us. You had to do it alone, but you handled yourself well.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Shannon, and I would like to wish you all the best on the night of February 20th.
Thank you for
being here. All right, okay, yes. We'll make way for Miss Dominica now to make her way to the seat. The time in the studios is 9:33, and our final beauty tonight is the reigning Miss Dominica, and her name is Marisol John, and we're going to have a bit of a chat. So we'll just take a quick break and then we'll get her to get comfortable in her seat. We're coming right back. This is the In the Spotlight radio show.
In the Spotlight on Q95 Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominica life, spotlighting the triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
9:35, the time in the studios at Q95 FM Radio. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. We've had quite a busy night, but we're just coming to the end. And wrapping up, bringing the curtains down on our 2 Monday special featuring the Miss Dominica contestants is reigning Miss Dominica Marisol John, beautiful Dominican woman, and she too had her journey. Marisol, good evening.
Good evening, Delina.
How are you?
I am cold, but that's nothing. That's nothing new. I'm always cold.
Oh my goodness, Marisol.
I'm doing fine, thanks.
We need to warm you up. Marisol, going back 1 year ago, you sat in this chair as well and went through this, and you went through the whole Miss Dominica experience. How did you feel sitting here tonight and just listening to Shannon and the couple others who were there, the other ladies who were there before? How did you feel?
To be honest, I was so intrigued by the conversations, I even forgot I had to come here. I was getting ready and I was watching at the same time, and I actually had to sit down to hear the other two young ladies. And when I did sit to listen to Shannon, I got so enthralled in the conversation. It reminded me of myself last year, but it also made me want more. So I must say I'm very impressed with all the young ladies, and I'm waiting for a very good show on February 20th.
What would you say to them?
Well, I've been talking to them for quite a long time, since they were introduced to me, and I make it a point of duty at least every week to give them some word of encouragement. And the last thing I said to them was actually yesterday at Savann's launching, that they should, shining is overrated, and that they should focus more on sparkling and leave a trail of glitter that mesmerizes.
I like that.
That is something I came up with to motivate myself, because we always encourage people to shine and to continue doing well, but what we fail to realize is that shining is an on-the-spot moment sort of thing. When you sparkle and you leave your glitter behind, it basically is a synonym or a simile for leaving your trail mark on the world. And I believe that's what the Miss Dominica pageant is. It's an avenue for young ladies to make changes in their community, in their world, and in their country. So I encourage them to continue to do that, continue to leave their mark on this world, using this pageant and thereafter to continue to be phenomenal women that they all are.
I love that, Marisol. Truly, I do. We're going to talk about your leading up to the crown last year. So I'm going to take you back to where they are now and to tell me, if you can remember, what that was like for you when you made that decision to contest the Miss Dominica pageant and then to go through the process that brought you the crown.
Alright, so I actually remember you asking me last year how many times a week. Actually, you asked me, do I ever rethink my decision? And I told you
that would be something I would ask.
At least once a day. And from that time last year to now, I have to change my answer. I cannot rethink that decision. It's probably one of the best decisions that I've made in my life. Last year at this time, it wasn't an easy period of my life. Just like many of the young ladies, I can tell they are probably under a little pressure, but it's part of the journey. It was a lot of pressure for me having to balance work, having to balance home, as well as my extracurricular activities. So I gained from it, I gained time management, and I've developed. So all of this goes to say that the journey was long, it was hard, but it was worth it.
And so you got to the point of the night of the pageant. How was Marisol feeling 2 hours before the show? Where were you? Were you already at the stadium? How were you feeling? What was going through your mind?
2 hours before the show, I was probably getting my makeup done.
Okay.
On my way to the stadium, possibly. But I have to take you back to the day.
Take me back to the day, Marisol.
Story time.
I want the story.
So, we always know that at showtime, everything that could go wrong or possibly go wrong will go wrong. And I sit here tonight telling you that that is the most truthful statement I've ever heard. On the morning of the show, I had to bring one of my pieces to the tailor actually to fix, as it was not fitting the way that it should have. So that is at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning of the show. I'm here hustling, going to fix my outfit for the night. I got it like about maybe 3 hours before the show, trusting that it would be okay. On the night of the show, putting it on, we had some details to put on as well. So I'm here with a piece of cardboard between the outfit and me, and the hot glue gun is trying to stick on some jewels and whatnot. It was an interesting experience, but I must say it worked out well anyway. I started off my day actually in church. You would know that I'm a very spiritual person as well, very religious. And I think that is what set my day. It set my pace for the day. You could ask my parents, my family, and my team. That day I did not speak. I did not speak until the night of the show.
Is that so? So were you using sign language or were you WhatsApping? What were you doing?
Okay, I spoke maybe when someone asked me a question, but to entertain conversation, that did not happen until maybe an hour before the show.
And what was the reason for that?
I needed to get into my zone.
Okay.
I needed that time to just be myself, focus my energies, and get to the point where I needed to be. And maybe like half an hour before the show, I told my chaperone, okay, I'm ready.
Half an hour before the show?
Half an hour before the show.
You're ready.
And then my mood changed, I was upbeat again. All my family and friends, they were concerned about why isn't she talking, why isn't she being so upbeat, is she doubting herself? I know they had those questions, but I needed that time to just zone out and zone back in.
Well, at least I'm sure they understood.
Yes, they
Because
did.
other than that, I guess everything else was in place, and you knew what you had to do on the night of the competition.
Yes.
So let us talk now about the night itself. So you're ready. The first thing is the opening number. Were you ready for that?
Certainly.
Certainly.
Yes, I was. It was actually one of the segments I was looking forward to because, again, we had the fellow contestants and we formed a really nice bond. And during our practices, we would prepare what moves we were going to do and what styles we were going to take on, and so it was really nice to see all of us unite and put on that show. So I feel that segment prepared me for the rest of the events of the show.
Not to stray a bit, but you just mentioned about forming a nice bond. And I heard the ladies this week and last week talk about, such a wonderful relationship that they have. Now, this bond that was developed last year, does it still exist?
Oh, yes, certainly. Of course, I cannot say no. They would probably stone me if I get Just last week, I believe, no, maybe a month ago, Brittany, she was here and we went out on a date.
Oh.
We had a nice time together, and for everyone's birthday, we go out together. We have dinner or we go.
So that continues.
Yes, actually, for my birthday last year, they threw me a surprise party.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, and I hope that there is some hope in that case for the young ladies of this year, that bond and that relationship that they're talking about having built, that it will just continue to grow, and that you will keep that relationship, going. I'm sure the others are probably viewing or listening as well as they're making their way home. So that was the opening number. The first competitive round was what round?
I believe that was the costume round.
The costume round. I can see you in your costume as we speak. So you're ready to come out in your costume, and are you ready to set the stage on fire?
Trust me, I was ready because it was heavy. I was ready to get done with it. It took like about 5 people to put it on because I think there was some rule to have no wheels, and with that being on my back, I had a lot of movement. I was ready to get us on stage and get off stage, but at the same time I knew that I worked hard to put on a show, and that's what I came to do. I went out there, I put on my show, I had fun, of course. I am not exactly the outgoing type, and I knew a lot of people were waiting for this segment because they thought that maybe or maybe not she would execute, and it was my time to prove that I was able to transform, that I was able to deliver in that setting, as well as still remaining who I am as an individual. However, as the time went by, I became more acquainted with the costume, with the music, with the stage, and I consider myself as an adapter. I don't let certain situations or different environments hinder me from achieving what I want. So I adapt to the situations rather than letting the situations control me.
Okay, so that round is gone. How are you feeling at that point?
The first thing I did when I got backstage, my chaperone was there, I just hugged her. I just threw my entire weight on her because it is a lot of energy. Well, it's 2 minutes and a half, I believe. But that 2 minutes and a half, it's like running a marathon. So I was very tired, and I was also very relieved that I had done what I needed to do.
So how then, seeing that you just came from the costume round, and you were feeling tired, how then were you gearing up for the next round, which would probably be what, the talent or swimsuit? I think it's talent.
The talent.
Oh gosh, I'm not remembering the rounds of the Queen show.
Swimsuit?
Somebody help us.
I'm not sure either, but I feel like it was.
I think it was talent. No.
Right, it was a talent.
It would have been talent because you get talent out of the way, so you can pretty up and glam up for swimsuit and evening wear. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It was talent.
Yes. So how then were you then mentally prepared? Your body was feeling a bit tired from the costume round, but then there comes the talent round, and how were you then transforming from that to that?
Well, I sat backstage and I let my team handle everything else. Okay. So I must say I had a really good team. While I was sitting cooling off, they were getting myself prepared for the following round. My viola, my music teacher, he came backstage and ensured that it was tuned. My chaperone, she did the hair, the makeup, everything, and all I had to do was just get dressed. So after doing that, I mentally prepared myself before every single round. I prayed individually, but I also prayed together with my team, and that also helped me.
Did you have something there, coffee, something that you probably put on your tongue just to give you that little boost of energy?
I actually had
secrets.
Exotica nuts and Gatorade.
Okay.
That's all I had.
And that worked for you?
Yes.
Yes. And then you came on for the talent round. And how did you feel about the talent when you were done?
I was actually also very relieved because I don't know if many of us know, the viola isn't a violin. It is more, it has a deeper bass to it. And it's also an alto clef. So I didn't know exactly.
I don't know what that means, Marisol.
It basically has a deeper sound. So it's similar to the cello.
Okay.
And I didn't know how the crowd would receive that, how receptive they would be, because we are accustomed to hearing the violin, we are accustomed to hearing the piano, the recorder, the flute, pan, but the viola, which is on the other end of the spectrum, I wasn't quite sure how the crowd would receive it. And it went well. So I was relieved that everything had gone according to plan. Also, again, I'm not a very outspoken person, and I had a little skit to portray the different accents and different traits of the Caribbean people, and I must say it brought out a little bit more than my personality, and I was happy that I could get the crowd to see that I'm more than this quiet or timid person.
So that leads me to ask, what did this pageant do for you as a person, as an individual?
Honestly, I have grown. Essentially, I have grown as a young woman. I have become more independent. Before the show, I won't lie, I was very sheltered by my parents. My parents and my family, they would take care of me. They would protect me from the outside world. But the Miss Dominica pageant has exposed me to the world, and it has made me see the world for more than what I would have seen in my myopic view under my parents' wing. It was an eye-opener, and it was very emotional having to go through this entire pageant. The criticism that I received, the support that was lacking, I can say that it allowed me to grow. It allowed me to be strong for myself, as well as to rely on the people who I knew were there for me regardless.
Back to the night of the pageant. So you're done with swimsuit, you're done with evening wear, and you're just waiting. What is going through your mind? Did you feel that you had done your best to win that night?
I won't say that I was very confident, but I knew that I had done everything in my power at the moment to handle myself on the night. Everything that I had practiced, everything that I had learned, it showed on the night of the show, and that was the most epic thing for me. That was the most important thing for me, that I had done what I needed to do. And regardless of the outcome, I was going to be happy that I had done my best.
And you're all called back on stage, and Raymond and myself, we started calling out the results. And quite a few times the name Marisol John came up. Remind me how many times?
6 times. Actually.
6 times, and they were for?
Best question and answer, best evening wear, best in evening wear, best performing talent, best creative, no, not swimwear, best creative wear, as well as best in creative wear.
So 6 of those that you keep. So by the time you led those 6, there were other people receiving awards too, but I think back then you were you ahead in terms of the amount of awards? Or just about even?
Just about even.
So you're still wondering, yo, where is this going to go?
At this time, I was shaking in my shoes. I'm like, please just give me the results. I'm ready to go.
And then it was announced that you won, and you were ecstatic, I'm sure.
Trust me, not as ecstatic as my brother, who got on stage before he was allowed to, but I was ecstatic. I mean, I couldn't think of any word to describe the moment.
And after that, it was getting ready for the regional pageants. How many regional pageants did you take part in?
3 of them.
3 regional pageants.
2 overseas and Miss OACS.
And Miss OACS here. Just give us a summary about the experiences in those regional pageants.
I must say, all the regional pageants, they shaped me. They made me a better person. And one of the things that I pushed for in my contesting in the Miss Dominica pageant was regional integration. That was my platform. And becoming a contestant in the regional pageants basically was icing on the cake. It stood for everything that I wanted to achieve in Miss Dominica, which is regional integration. And going to the Miss JC's pageant and the Caribbean Culture Queen pageant, it allowed me to see the different cultures that I so wanted to experience, as well as share with other people. I also gained some friends. I still speak to a few of them on a daily basis. And it also made me realize that what we are so accustomed to here is not exactly the culture that is experienced somewhere else. And it allowed me to see a lot of things on a new perspective, and I'm very grateful for the experience.
If you had to do anything differently, what would that be, Marisol?
Honestly, come to think of it, I don't think I would have done anything differently, because all the experiences that I have gone through, it made me into this individual that I am. And I believe that everything that I went through was essential to making me this stronger woman, this person who is not afraid to speak, the person who is now ready to take on any battle in life. And yes, there are things that I would have changed, things that I would have probably handled differently, but I don't regret the way that I handled it.
Okay.
It made me who I am, and for that I'm grateful.
The last pageant you took part in was held on home ground.
Yes.
And your people were there supporting. I remember I was actually a judge for the question and answer segment, and I remember when you answered, I said, this young lady is a brilliant young lady. She's very, very intelligent, you know. So I was really proud as a Dominican, just sitting there, you know, and just listening to you and having the opportunity to judge you and to see how you perform. In the end, you emerged second runner-up, and that was simply because something went wrong with your, what you call it?
The
viola. The viola. Yes. What happened?
Honestly, I cannot explain to you what happened. I know that the day before our dress rehearsals, everything was perfect. Everything was perfect except the tuning of something, not the viola, but the background music. There was a slight off key. It was supposed to be fixed. It was fixed, but apparently
it returned.
It returned, and it even got worse.
Yes.
So, in the moment, I just said, I'm going to do what I have to do, regardless. And I mean, I knew after that round that was a huge blunder.
Yeah.
But I didn't let it deter me. I knew that I had 2 other rounds to kill, and I just went ahead and I did what I had to do.
So if you were to summarize your entire pageant experience from the Miss Dominica, which was your first, right? No?
First official, but I had done a primary school pageant very long ago.
Okay. All right. So if you were to summarize this entire experience, how would you summarize it?
In one word, I would.
Not one word, just generally speaking.
Okay. I would
You're
have to
cold.
say, yes, I am cold.
I can tell, yes. I'm looking for the remote so I can help you out. But
it's okay, I'm warming up.
Okay.
So, in one word, I'd say it was a blessing. It was a phenomenal, great blessing to me. As I said, I've grown. And I believe in development of yourself, whether you are a child or an adult, you're never too old to develop yourself. And that was the greatest opportunity for me to develop. I would have to say it was also an eye-opener. Again, I was very sheltered, and probably I shouldn't use this word, but I was naive. I was not aware of characteristics of people that show, and some characteristics that don't show but are still very present. And it allowed me to see people for who they really are. And it also allowed me to accept things rather than let it dampen my spirit and make me miserable. I must say it was emotional. I've been through hell and back in this journey. But again, I've strengthened up. My character has gotten much bigger. I have used my voice. I've had people walk up to tell me that they admire me. And I'm not saying this to be cocky, but it has allowed me to know that my presence here is felt. I have used my voice to impact other people. And probably that is the greatest blessing in this entire journey. To know that my work here is done and will continue.
Okay. Tell us some of what you did during your reign.
Well, the first thing that I did was launch my program called Royal. It's an acronym for what I believe in, for youth to empower themselves. So Royal, rise, overcome, yield, aspire, and lead. I believe that every single person has the opportunity to do all of these things once their mindset is in the right place. And I'm very passionate about young people and their development. After all, our youth are not only the future of tomorrow, but the future of today. They are the ones who are going to lead us in the next generation. They are the ones who are going to take up the mantle in different businesses, in the government, in schools. And I believe that a lot of the social issues that we are dealing with right now is because that our youth are not on the right path. They're not being guided correctly. And I feel that my role here, not only as an educator, but as a public figure, is to help them, to show them by direction, by example, what they should be doing in their lives and the best way to achieve their dreams. So under the Royal Project, we have used social media, community outreach, as well as fellowship to basically reach out to the young people. Our very first activity, I believe, was a cardio jam. It was hosted for young people solely to encourage fitness as well as fellowship and fun. It was held at the gardens, the botanical gardens, and actually one of the contestants this year helped me out with that. That's Miss Elnara Emmanuel. She is the dance director at Pashawalk, and I asked her to come on board to help lead the dance-a-side session. And it was a very fun afternoon. A lot of young people, not a lot, but a good bit of young people showed up. And it was a very fun activity to see our young people taking their health seriously, being conscious about the way that they eat, and it was an eye-opener to a lot of them. They hadn't known that they weren't so fit, because young people have this idea that they're young and they will be fit forever, but it's not necessarily the case. So we've done other projects for community outreach purposes. The last one we did was actually last week Friday, a donation to the Sacred Heart Preschool located on Virgin Lane, better known as Miss Blessing's Preschool.
Okay.
I actually adopted that school under the Royal Project. So that goes to say Royal is not going to end now.
Right.
It will continue to live on as long as I live and thereafter for my legacy. So we donated some school supplies. We also spent some time with them playing some games, and we had a little snacks so to share out with them.
Okay.
So it was a really nice experience.
All right. The scholarship. When are we going to cash in this scholarship, and what are we going to do with that scholarship?
Hopefully this year, but who knows, God may have other plans. But I hope to study biomedical engineering or biomedical research.
Well, you like to do me things, eh? Talk about things I don't know what they are. What is that, Marisol?
So basically, this job entitles, or it allows people to research cures for diseases, as well as different implementations to make healthcare services more affordable and available to populations, especially in third world countries. However, I will be studying biotechnology first, so that way I may have a different avenue to branch out into pharmaceuticals or probably agriculture. Either one would be great for me.
Okay, so we may see you go off sometime later on this year in terms of going off to study, possibly.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, all right. So Marisol, I think you've been a beautiful Miss Dominica. And I admire the work that you've done during your journey, especially focusing a lot on children and young people. I think that's important. They are the future, and if we can give them some support, some guidance, whatever it is they need at that age, then we're preparing our society for better young people, more educated young people, more focused young people. So it's important to start at that level. I'm going to give you the opportunity, because we have to begin to wrap up, to acknowledge. I know you don't have a list or anything, but you can feel free if you would like to acknowledge some persons, the company that sponsored you last year, and anything else that you would like to leave with us as we wrap up.
Okay, well, I actually said to myself yesterday that I should probably start writing that thank you. It's going to be a very long one, again, because the Dominican public have been supportive. And I must say thank you to Mr. Donnie Robinson, that's the general manager of Detroit Tires Inc., and the entire Detroit staff, because they came on board full support from the time that they knew that I was representing them. They knew that I was their girl, and up to this day, I'm still their girl, and I must say thank you to Detroit for that. My team, headed by Mr. Tessia Butler, who's my main chaperone, thank you so much. You've made me into a phenomenal woman, and with your guidance, I wouldn't have made it this far. Miss Nadira Lando, past Miss Dominica, she has also been a great help to me. Of course, that was my main team. I have my costume builders, all the other persons who will get the thank you on my final walk night. But I must say thank you to my family. I've had family who traveled miles just to see me on the night of the show. They also followed me to the regional pageants, my aunties in St. Thomas.
Seriously?
Seriously. They followed me to the regional pageants. My auntie Iris in Guadalupe, who's watching right now. My mom, I can't forget my mom.
Wow.
She has been there from inception to now. She has been there for it all, and I must say thank you to her. She is my rock. I have to say thanks to my dad as well. He wasn't entirely supportive of this whole pageantry thing, but he was extremely proud, and that is one of the things that I must say I'm grateful for, making my parents and my family proud. My brother in Cuba right now. A lot of people didn't know my brother, but on the night of the show they found out who he was, simply because he jumped in the barricades. But thank you, Shannon, for being there all the time. Even to this day, when he's in Cuba, he still sends me messages to encourage me, to ensure that I'm okay regardless of what's going on home. And my friends, my family, I have two supporters I must mention, that is Emma and Sherwin. Up to this day, whether I have an appearance to do or whatever it is that I do, they follow me to those events, and I must say thank you to them. I really don't want to forget anybody, but I must say thank you to everybody. My Auntie Jane, who also encouraged me to be part of this journey, I have to say thank you to her. To the members of the Quincha Committee, well, the last year Quincha Committee, who helped in preparing me and encouraging me. I must say thank you to you all, as well as the DFC and the DDA for giving me the opportunity. And thank you to everyone who supported me in one way or another, and who showed me your love and unconditional support.
Outside of the 7 who are contesting this year, is this something that you would encourage a young woman to do?
Certainly, I would. And I must side with Shannon on this. The Miss Dominica pageant, as well as other pageants throughout the region, they have not evolved as much as the international pageants. And we're still limited to physical beauty, to talents within our reach. But it is so much more on an international scale. And I feel that we need to start pushing for these avenues and these platforms, because at the end of the day, when we prepare our young ladies for these pageants, we need to prepare them internationally. And I would encourage young ladies to take part in pageants such as the Miss Dominica pageant. However, I would make sure that they are ready. They are ready to face everything that is going to be thrown at them, from the criticism to the long nights, to every single challenge that they're going to encounter. They have to be ready to face it.
All right, final words for the ladies again as we wrap it up. The 7 who are contesting on February 20th.
They know where my heart is, it's with them, and I continue to encourage them to be the best version of themselves, regardless of all the negativity that may surround the pageant, that may surround the different controversies. Stay true to yourself, be true to you, who you are, know what you are representing, and once you are confident in your beliefs, in your opinions, never back down from the challenge. And of course, the Miss Dominica pageant is a challenge, but it's a worthy one.
All right. Miss Dominica 2019, Marisol John, bringing the curtains down on our Miss Dominica special. Marisol will be giving up her crown on the night of the 20th. And we want to wish you well, Marisol, in whatever it is that you desire to pursue, whether you decide to go to study this year, next year, whether you change your mind, whatever the case is. I think whatever you do, that you'll have a positive impact on not just Dominica, but the world. I really, really do wish you well, my dear, and I look forward to hearing even greater things about Marisol John, right? You're more than welcome. That is a wrap on the In the Spotlight radio show for tonight. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Next week we'll be having another queen in her own right. I think if I remember my schedule well enough, it should be Carly next week Monday on the In the Spotlight radio show. Do join us then. That is a wrap. Until next time, good night everyone, and thank you again to all the ladies who came through last week Monday and today, and of course Miss Dominica for being here. Until we do it next week Monday, same time, good night everyone.